welcome to the final episode of this season's Wind Down. Today we are joined by the incredible Amanda Seales, who plays Tifanny. She'll be helping us break down tonight's episode, Low Key Lost.
A huge part of the episode is dealing with needing to find Tifanny. Why do you guys feel it was important for us to sort of tackle Tifanny's storyline evolving around postpartum depression?
We wanted to depict this because, you know, it's commonplace, and we wanted to show this struggle, and it just felt like this was the natural opportunity to showcase this. Tifanny's the only mother, the only married one out of our group of friends, and she already started to feel isolated in a way, and so unfortunately this just added to her burden.
I think Tiff had also kind of like solidified herself as like the strong one. Like, even though she'll allude to like things with Derek, it's never like being put in her girls' laps. And so I think that also just reflects the realities of like, we know how to have a strong mind, but not necessarily a healthy mind.
Right.
So we know how to muscle through, and like, that's not gonna break me, and that's not gonna hurt me. Like, but it's like, okay, but are you really dealing with it?
Right.
Or are you just like suppressing sadness?
But that's that character, right?
She set this grid up.
Yes.
Like, my hair is gonna be together.
Yes.
I even made like a conscious decision to, over the course of the season, like, let my nails be less done. So that by the end, like, she doesn't even have a manicure, which for Tifanny, that's like, you've never seen Tifanny without this happening. But like, I think a lot of women can relate to like something that minor actually being very indicative of like them falling apart, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times it'd be those little things that you just know are like, oh, she's together.
And I think that was another factor too, because yes, Tifanny is going through this thing, but we also wanted it to serve as a metaphor for her actual friends missing out. Like, her actual friends aren't noticing that she's falling apart, and that is also indicative of the friendship that they have with each other. They're not seeing one another.
Who was in it though? Derek was in it.
Derek was down.
Was in it.
That's what's great, I think, at the door, when you guys have that moment together where you've never let Derek see the other side of that, right? And I think even not wanting to answer the door, right? How do I face this man who I typically am together for? I don't want him to really see me like this, because what does that mean? You know, how will he see me now going forward? It still gives me chills thinking about it, because it was so real about a husband and wife who do need to see each other, but it's scary.
And you know why else it gives you chills?
What is it?
Because that was acting, baby. Acting.
You know, one of the things we discussed in the room was, from a very early standpoint, was wanting to tackle this topic for Tifanny this year. So I would love to talk about how postpartum depression is rarely really portrayed accurately on TV, and especially with Black women.
When it is portrayed, it's it's wild.
I can't take this. You know, it's being acted to the back of the room.
Right.
Not to the camera.
It's not nuanced. We talked about that a lot in the room. I mean, I remember to a point that we were talking about debating, like, what's the most real version of what she would be wearing, how you would find her, what she would do, has she eaten? I mean, we got very meticulous about this because we wanted it to feel very real.
Yeah, you talked about your nails.
Yes.
What else did you do to prepare for Tifanny's postpartum?
I mean, I think the hardest thing was gonna be just figuring out an authentic place to tap into that could get me to the same feeling of emptiness and confusion that you would be at if this was, you know, your actual reality.
Speaking of pregnancies, there's a big drop at the end of this episode of Lawrence getting Condola pregnant. How do you think Issa feels about that, and she and Lawrence's relationship possibly moving forward?
This taints him in a very real way. And I say that, to me, if I'm interested in a man and he has a child with someone else, I think it robs you of that moment. And that's my mind. I feel like they've lost a milestone. In the season 2 finale,
Yeah, you're right.
like when she pictures getting back with Lawrence, having a baby together is the first thing. So now
She don't got the firstborn.
she doesn't have the firstborn. He's sharing that moment with someone else, someone who he's not with, and they had just recommitted. So there's things to discuss, like how active he wants to be in this child's life. If he's not active, then he's kind of not shit.
Right,
So
he has
what
to be.
he has to do.
So you're like an auntie girlfriend.
If can Issa and Condola be friends even? Because
You were already friends.
But then
Not
they
after
wasn't.
that.
It's gonna be lit.
Thank you so much for joining us for the Wind Downs this season. We really hope you enjoy watching this season as much as we love making it. Cheers.
Cheers, it's over, y'all.
Issa Rae. Quattro.